So what exactly is the Alternatives to Detention program?
What we do is we provide 24/7 response to law enforcement, the probation department, and juvenile court to try to provide a spectrum of detention alternatives for juvenile offenders who don't present a safety risk to the community. And if youth are appropriate to come into our services, what those services might look like is family-based counseling, other types of support services that are not just for the youth, but for the whole family to keep them stabilized in the community, to prevent any future offenses from happening, and ideally to help to cultivate leadership in the youth.
Tell me a little bit about the kids who actually end up in juvenile detention. What sorts of offenses do they commit to end up there?
Yeah, so there's a lot of offenses that occur. Sometimes when we get calls for alternatives to detention, it might be what we call misdemeanor family offenses, maybe an incident at the home between a youth or their caregiver or a sibling in the home that might have gotten out of hand and might have led to some pushing, shoving. Sometimes we're dealing with youth who have some substance use or abuse issues, or just youth who might have some issues with peer pressure. Maybe they got arrested for a petty theft. So we see a lot of different things that happen with these youth, I think, but the key is that they really are a lot of times getting in trouble for the first time. They have a lot of strengths that they bring to the table. And so what we're looking at is how do we effectively address their needs while keeping them in the community and in school where they have the best chance for success.
So who are you primarily targeting through this program? From what you've described, it appears that you might be going after kids who have committed not so serious offenses.
So we can target both of them, actually. The county has wonderful diversion programs for first-time offenders on the lower end. So where ATD comes in is we're going to that next step up. So maybe it's not the youth's first offense, but they're still pretty minor. Or maybe it is the first time they're in trouble, but due to the fact that maybe there's a victim in the home, that's why the arresting department might not necessarily feel comfortable just leaving them at home immediately at the time of the offense. One of the key things we do is in providing 24/7 response is that we can put them in temporary licensed foster homes just for a cool-off period while we work towards reunifying, which is a much better alternative than bringing those kids into juvenile hall for those family-based offenses. And if they go into those licensed foster homes temporarily, it's usually a really short stay, 5 to 7 days. But our teams are taking that youth to school every day. They're homeschooled, which is key, keeping them involved in any positive activities they're already involved in. We have a lot of student athletes. So being able to continue that is really key in addressing the issues at home and putting them on the best pathway for success.
So you've been doing this for some time. How crucial is this program?
It's amazing, and it's so imperative. We serve over 750 youth and families countywide each year, and it's really had tremendous success. Over 95% of our families that go through a program exit successfully, participating in programming, no future offenses. We also have independent evaluators through SANDAG that run 6-month checks afterwards. We're still seeing over 95% of our youth being successful 6 months after they leave the program, not having any future offenses. So we're really creating positive change in the communities. Obviously, serving 750 youth and families a year, it's a big need, but we're helping to keep them successful while we're decreasing our juvenile detention population, which is huge because we're really trying to create a better society for the future, too, with these youth.
So the 5%, though, who are being missed somehow or not responding, what do you think the missing link might be there?
You know, it can be multiple things. Sometimes people just aren't ready for change. Sometimes they might need an even higher level of, for instance, substance abuse treatment. We are really creative, and what's great about our network of providers, even though our agency oversees it countywide, we're really a strong partnership. All of our community-based organizations who are countywide providers have other contracts for higher intensive services if needed. So if they are a youth who recidivates, who ATD isn't quite meeting the needs, we can work collaboratively with the probation department, with juvenile court, and within some of our other programs and resources to try to continue to help that family. So it's not like, oh, if they get in trouble, we're just closing the door and saying goodbye. We're very invested in continuing to try to support that youth and family.
Manny Mistrovich, thanks so much for talking to us today.
You're welcome.
Hey, sweetie.
I'm William Brady.